Luka still got his whole career ahead of him, he just might need his whole career to get people to forget what occurred Sunday night.
Is Luka Doncic's incredible season finally exposing how out of touch the mainstream NBA media is? Luka is having one of the greatest seasons ever, putting up insane numbers, yet the media seems to be diminishing his accomplishments or outright ignoring them. The treatment has angered fans, and it could lead to the downfall of the NBA media as we know it. Luka's play may be the catalyst that shifts fans towards following new, smarter voices in the NBA coverage. Let's start by looking at just how amazing Luka's season has been so far, because the numbers are absolutely mind-boggling. The 23-year-old is currently averaging at a whopping 34.2 points per game, which leads the entire NBA. To put that into perspective, the last player to average over 34 points in a season was Kobe Bryant back in 2005 and 6, when he put up 35.4 points per game. Luka is keeping company with the genuine legends of the game. But it's not just his scoring that is off the charts. Luka is also hauling in 8.8 rebounds and dishing out 9.5 assists per contest. That's the first time a player has averaged 34-plus points, 8-plus rebounds, and 9-plus assists since Oscar Robertson did it back in 65-66. The Big O is considered one of the most versatile and talented players ever, and Luka is matching him as just a 23-year-old in the modern NBA. His overall offensive brilliance shines through in his 62% true shooting percentage, which accounts for three-point shooting. That level of elite efficiency on such a massive offensive workload is rare and something that only a few superstars have achieved. Luka is simply decimating opposition defenses on a nightly basis from all areas of the floor. As amazing as his overall numbers are, Luka has also sprinkled in multiple performances this season that can only be described as superhuman. There was his 60-point triple-double against the Knicks back in December, which saw him erupt for 60 points, 21 rebounds, and 10 assists in a massive comeback win for the ages. Then, just last week, Luka one-upped himself in historic fashion by dropping an unbelievable 73 points against the Atlanta Hawks. This was the highest-scoring game in over 20 years, and just the 10th time in NBA history a player has scored 70 points in a game. Luka etched his name in the record books along legends like Wilt, Kobe, David Robinson, and more. What made the 73-point eruption even more ridiculous was the efficiency with which he did it. Luka shot a blistering 65% from the field and an even more absurd 82% on the two-point shots, showcasing how unstoppable he was getting to the cup. He was getting whatever he wanted against the Hawks that night. Pundits can try to discredit it all the way they want, but scoring 73 points in an NBA game is one of the most preposterous feats in pro sports. If Luka is able to sustain these averages for the rest of the season, he will become the first player in NBA history to average 34-plus points, 8-plus rebounds, and 9-plus assists over an entire year. The level of all-round offensive dominance and responsibility he's shouldering for the Mavericks is unprecedented. We are witnessing a truly special, maybe even a once-in-a-lifetime type season from Luka so far. His combination of scoring, playmaking, rebounding, and efficiency is unmatched in today's NBA. Anyone who can't appreciate the greatness we're seeing from the 23-year-old is simply lying to themselves. Luka is rewriting record books and putting up numbers that will be discussed for generations to come. It really is that insane for a campaign from the younger superstar. And yet, despite this level of historically great play, the NBA media has almost completely disregarded Luka. He is currently ranked 4th in the official NBA MVP rankings, behind players having far less impactful seasons. MVP is supposed to go to the most valuable player, but the guy putting up literally all-time great numbers can't even crack up to the top 3? This gets even worse when you look at the treatment from media analysts like Stephen A. Smith. After Luka's 73-point game, instead of praising the otherworldly performance, Smith went on TV and completely discredited it, saying that the Hawks didn't play defense and that it wasn't actually that impressive compared to other scoring nights. Are you kidding me? Scoring 73 points in an NBA game is one of the most difficult feats in all of sports. Yet Smith brushed it off due to his own biases. This disrespect towards Luka is blatant and obvious to anyone watching. The sad part here is we've seen this before, and the international NBA superstars like Giannis, Jokic, and Embiid earlier in their careers too. They all had to go out and prove the doubters wrong over and over again before finally getting their respect. It seems like Luka is having to run the same gauntlet now despite putting up perhaps the greatest offensive numbers we've seen before. Not surprisingly, fans have had enough of this constant dismissal and disrespect aimed at Luka. They are fighting back in full force. Social media was filled with outrage after Stephen A's disrespectful comment, with fans calling out the potential racial undertones and demanding Luka get the respect he deserves. Fans have also lashed out at the NBA's MVP rankings and the media narrative surrounding Luka. And the NBA's mainstream is losing more and more credibility with every instance of disrespecting Luka's greatness. Fans can see what's happening. They can read the box scores and statistics. They know the truth, even if the media doesn't want them to acknowledge it. By continuing to discredit Luka at every turn, media members are only further tarnishing their own reputations and showing how out of touch they are with the modern NBA. If this treatment of Luka Doncic continues, it could very realistically lead to the downfall of the mainstream NBA media cabal. Fans are already turning away in droves from traditional mainstream NBA coverage, instead choosing to follow emerging independent media voices who shape narratives based on facts, stats, and on-court performances rather than predetermined narratives, feelings, and preconceived notions. The monopoly that major media companies like ESPN, Fox Sports, TNT, and more have held over NBA coverage, and this course could be in serious jeopardy. Think about it. Why would any self-respecting NBA fan choose to consume content from analysts, talkheads, and media personalities who constantly diminish, disrespect, and discredit all-time great individual performances and seasons? Fans are seeking out objective numbers based on analysis that give props where props are due based on the actual truth of what is happening on the court. If the corporately owned traditional mainstream media outlets can't provide that, then fans will gladly flock to upbeat independent media creators who aim to call it like they see it. The data patterns demonstrate that this substantial shift in consumption habits is already underway. Search traffic, view counts, and audience numbers across social media platforms reveal a rapidly growing subset of NBA fans who are ditching mainstream sports network in favor of independent creators whose commentary aligns with the reality of Luka's unbelievable season rather than nonsensical hot-take ambitions. Newer media entities unattached to legacy corporate institutional bias have been able to freely bask in Doncic's greatness, expounding on how his all-world numbers situate him among the absolute elite of the NBA history. Their audience intake charts are displaying near vertical upward traction as fans flee from misinformation mainstream rhetoric. Simultaneously, former audience captors like ESPN have experienced a notable downturn in raw consumption metrics surrounding anything like Luka Doncic and Dallas Mavericks is related. The reality is that old basketball media powerhouses are rapidly losing their grip on fans' attention and interest, and they have their own stubbornness and bias to blame. The writing has been on the wall, yet they remain incapable of providing fans with the authenticity of crave. This Luka Doncic situation may ultimately serve as the flashpoint that fully separates NBA diehards from reliance on mainstream media altogether. Players of Luka's caliber and with the global appeal don't come around often, if ever. If these established media institutions prove permanently incapable of recognizing and venerating legitimate talent all the time, and venerating legitimate all-time greatness when it is staring at them directly in the face, they may ultimately seal their own fates as irrelevant corruption loudmouths in fans' eyes. The fans have made their stance resoundingly clear, appreciate Doncic's wizardry and elevate it as the spectacular phenomenon it is, or be relegated to the newsroom's old age. Either respect the greatness they're witnessing unfold or continue being leaders of a disrespected, disgraced, and discredited media sphere. The writing is on the wall for the mainstream NBA media as we know it. Unless they can get past their biases and give Luka the respect and admiration he deserves, they will continue to bleed credibility and audience share. Newer, smarter, and more objective voices are waiting in the wings to take their place. Luka's incredible season could be a flashpoint that accelerates this transition in basketball media and analysis. Players of his caliber and with the global appeal don't come around that often. If the established media forces can't appreciate his all-time greatness when it's staring them back in the face, they don't deserve to have a voice covering the game. So let's know what you think about all this in the comments below. Are you fed up of the media disrespecting Luka too? And make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more NBA truth bombs.